Hey Moguls, it's Dr. T here, and I'm coming to you with some awesome upgrades that'll help get you on the track to your healthiest, wealthiest, top mogul self. We're focusing today on whether or not we should go all in for our dreams or whether we should have some B plans, C plans, D plans. Do we go all in? Do we invest completely in our dreams? Do we diversify? Do we hedge? And what we're going to figure out is exactly what the right answer is here. So stay tuned. Uh, I just realized that people can be really confused about this. And so I want to share that in my life, I have been someone who has really gone all in, every bit I possibly could in. Once I came to connect with my actual life purpose, which really happened from me being a corporate trainer, training managers into upper management, and just realizing at one point, I was like, I'm a freaking psychologist. Like, this is what I'm doing. Like, business and psychology, it's all one thing. And I find it funny that we separate these things because my first degree was in business, even though I wanted it to be in psychology. It was like, oh, you have to do this in business so you can do business. And then I went to get a second degree in psychology, and it was like, oh, you should get an MBA. And this was the whole thing. And I did that. Finally, at a certain point, I'm like, what am I doing day in and day out? Day out, I am focusing on people's psychology. Period. This is the story. And eventually was like, this is what I'm doing, and I'm going to go all in for this. And um, then finally got my PhD in psychology and just went all in for it. So at a certain point, once I was able to get through the quite honestly crappy programming of our slave system, which sends people to school, telling them to get a job, giving them what I hate to say is a very remedial education that hasn't gotten any better since I went through the school systems, and doesn't teach you how to actually create your own reality, live your dreams, fulfill your ultimate destiny, and how to just be a top reality maker in society. So that programming, like, eventually I was able to see through it, wrote my first best-selling book. I'm just like, I'm not following this prescription. I'm following my purpose. And I'll say to you what I received as divine guidance, which was like, why would you follow some other societal prescription when I'm giving you the downloads? Like, the divine has given me the downloads that says, do this, live this purpose, do this, create an amazing transformation company that helps people transform themselves and their reality and upgrade that reality into their highest destiny. And the more I got through that programming, and I was just like, if I'm going to follow anything, I'm going to follow this divine guidance. Like, this is what's coming through. I also, like so many people, studied the laws of physics and energy. And it's like, if I'm going to, like, why would I have some 15 other plans if this is what I'm being guided to do? So I started to realize I don't want to have a B plan. I don't want to have a C or a D plan. And while there's more that I want to share about why we may or may not want to have those, so stay tuned. Um, I'll be really clear. I felt the best I've ever felt in my life being an all inner, just all pure purpose, trusting it. Talk about a faith journey. And not that, like, I refer to it as that all the time, because I really didn't have to think of it that way. I'm just like, the guidance is coming in. I receive it. I follow my navigation system. And I do it. And I was just doing what I was told. Like, make this company, do this methodology. Here's what I'm giving to you. Put it into the world. This is the reality you're here to create, and this is your destiny. And I'll be very clear. I have enjoyed that on a really top level. And there's more to the story. So I want to say that I have, once I got so clear on my purpose, which I know is a lot just to get there for people, it helped me in every level. I was just like creating best-selling books, doing TED Talks, doing everything, and making content and making a coaching company that transformed lives. And it ultimately, in the beginning, was doing that for high net worth and ultra high net worth people. That's what was being brought to me, because when I transformed them, they transformed millions or thousands of other people. And all of that, phenomenal. And it just felt so good. I didn't want to have it. I really honestly didn't want to have in my programming a B, C, D, E plan. I just didn't want that. I didn't want a B plan. The laws of physics are that it just doesn't make any sense. Like, am I creating this reality or am I creating that reality? And it was very clear, like, the universe and the programming of reality is like your intentionality creates your reality. That's like the methodology of our transformation company. So I was like, why would I hedge? Why would I have an alternative? Why would I have a storyline that in case this doesn't work out, I'll do I'll do this? None of that made sense in programming. And as a psychologist, success coach, author, speaker, trainer, ultimately what it boils down to is reprogramming people's programming, their software, because let's get real. Most all humans, especially preceding the last couple generations, have received shit programming. And then even I'll include the last couple generations because they're going through the shitty school system. No offense to anybody working in it. Appreciate what it can provide. It's built to be a slave system. It was for training slaves to be educated enough to stay in slavery. That's why it tells you to just go get a job, right? You don't go into school and it tells you build your ultimate empire, build your dynasty, build your ultimate reality. There's none of that. So in reprogramming, you don't want to have alternatives to your ultimate reality. But I'm going to add into that because the question is, should we go all in for our biggest dreams and desires, or should we have a B plan or other alternative plans? And I really would like you all to let me know what you think. That is the point that we're doing here. We're growing this together. But I will say, now that I see how reality is unfolding as we move from the age of Capricorn into the new age of Aquarius, and all that means in regular person speak, which is what I speak in, is as we move from an age of materialism, structure, all this industry, this heavy building of the material world that happened, and we're just like build stuff and everything was about material. Have your house, have your other house, have your cars, have your stuff, have so much stuff that you have to have multiple storage units to store the stuff. That's the Capricorn age. That's the material stuff age. We went through that for an evolutionary period. That was a curriculum. We built the material world. And now we're in a new age because that was the age where the manifestors and generators were building the world. Now we're in a new age where the projectors are brought in. If you don't know human design, there's a link in this description that you can learn more about human design. I'm a projector, and in the age of projectors, it's all about raising the frequency. So now we're in a new age, the age of Aquarius. Higher frequency, revolution, transformation, highest intelligence. Artificial intelligence just means highest intelligence. We're in the age of transformation. So now we need to ask ourselves, do we go all in or do we have these other B, C, D, E plans? Feel free to let me know what you think. We need to look at that and we need to have a sense of that because now it's a little different. Before, in this previous age, it was like have a job or be an entrepreneur and write your own ticket and then be one of the people that gets to create whatever they want and then other people work for them. I mean, that it's either you're, hate to say it, just going to keep it real, you're either going to be a master or a slave. And because we all went to slave school, a tiny percent of the world are the masters and a lot of the world was slaves. Thank God we're moving out of that because that was very binary. You're going to be a master, an entrepreneur, you're going to be a slave, a worker. Be trapped in that, right? That was pretty much what it was. Now, in the new age of Aquarius, where it's revolutionary technology, fast change, we are effectively in the age of the transformation. And now we have to ask this question: do we go all in for our dreams our ultimate reality, or do we have some alternative options in our back pocket? Here's the deal. We're in a different era. You are going to find more and more everything is going to move away from like stockpiled stuff, and it's going to be in like go into transformation, go into change, invest in yourself, in everything that upgrades you and your reality, not the stuff. I'm so happy because I have been for years and years in that reality. And I'm so glad when you're really ahead of the reality, meaning you're bringing people forward in it, it's so nice when it starts to align and you're like, okay, the thing I've been saying for years, we're here now. Here's the difference. Fast change is going to happen so rapidly, it's going to make your head spin. And the only people that are going to thrive in it are the people that can very much transform very quickly. And all the stuff people are going to invest in is transformation, which is beautiful. As someone that has been saying transformation is the pathway for my entire lifetime. So now we got to think differently. It's not as binary. So now we need to know, should we be doing this? If things are going to change really rapidly, someone could go like the PhD I got, which is completely outdated at this point. We're not going to need that anymore, by the way. We're going to have a new system. We're not going to need everybody to go spend 7 years getting an education that is going to be outdated in 7 months. Now that things are going to change this rapidly, the question is, what do we focus on? Do we go all in? What do we do? Do we have all these alternatives? And I'm really curious what you're all thinking should happen. Because from everything that I can tell, nothing is going to stay fixed. So ultimately, what I'm seeing, and you tell me, is that we want to have a larger umbrella, like a thematic sense of our reality. This is what people do refer to as a purpose. But say, for example, if mine is revolutionary transformation, right? In yourself, in your reality, that umbrella is the ultimate reality for me. What I'm doing here, what I'm living, and that umbrella versus what we might have focused on before, like this business, this job, that position. I'm going to invite you all to think about connecting to a larger umbrella of a reality as your conceptualization more and more, because in this new era, the thing that I want to be able to do, and I invite you to tell me what you want to be able to do, is I want to be able to shift as rapidly as reality is upgrading so that I don't get fixed into this. Oh, now I'm doing this job. Now I'm doing this role. Now my company is doing this program. Oh, but wait, it's already changed again. We're here now in a new level. So the old days of like, should I do this or this? And then it stays fixed for a long time. That's over. So when we say, should we go all in for our ultimate reality or should we have some B plans? It may be a whole different paradigm, which is what it looks like it is. So I'm curious what you think about that, because what I've got so far as an understanding is the more that I keep it in sort of a higher level sense of like, what's the bottom line, what's the high level and the bottom line, but I don't want to go down, I want to go up. It's that the ultimate reality, the ultimate reality that I am going for as the A plan and the only plan, where everything else can fit in it so I don't have to have 18 alternatives, which can be a little overwhelming, is that the ultimate plan is transformation. The ultimate plan is upgrading. The ultimate plan is, as things occur, that I get more and more, not just reacting and responding and then getting on board, but that I go way ahead. What is the absolute furthest out I can see that transformation will be like, and go toward that. So I'm not just like, oh my God, I'm trailing the breadcrumbs. And then by the time you never keep up with it. So when I connect to transformation, revolutionary transformation of people, their partnerships, their companies, their families, and I go all the way out. That helps me have an A plan that I don't need to deviate from, and allows me to say, "Oh, I will go as innovative as I possibly can connect forward." And even if people are like, "That seems really out there," it's like, it is, because I don't want to have to keep breadcrumbing and then I got to shift 72 times to the F plan, which may end up being an F plan. I want to go as innovative as I can see forward, get there so I don't have to be following. And that is my A plan. My A plan is to get further ahead of the curve than I already have been my whole life and get rid of programming that has programmed people in reality through the slave system that is mostly the masses of reality to be followers, instead of being like, what's the furthest forward I can connect to? And let me set my sights there as my A plan. And if I seem way out there for people, that's good. That's a good sign that I'm on the right track, because otherwise you're like, let me hedge this in the B plan and the C plan and the D plan. And even if you chose all those options as a backup and a backup to the backup of the backup, there's no sense that those jobs, those roles, those realities will even be there, even a year from now, 2 years from now, let alone 5 years from now. What's happening, moguls, is that everywhere we used to be able to plan all the way out, that's over. It's a couple generations ago that the ones that have pretty much just died that could plan for that and have some sense of what was going to happen, that doesn't exist anymore. It just does not exist anymore, because what's going to be reality is going to change so rapidly that my sense, and I want you to share with me what you think should happen, is that we should have an umbrella that is so clear that we can basically move around and maneuver within that, going as far innovative as we possibly can, so that we get ahead of the curve, so that we are leading the curve, so that we are pioneering and on the forefront, rather than chasing it and trying to be like, what role should I be in? Because that ground, that reality may just disappear year after year. The likelihood is that it will. We are in the most transformative age. We have entered the age of Aquarius recently, just very recently. We're in the most transformative age that ever exists out of all of the eras we go through. I think they're saying the last time this one was happening was like 647 BC. Uh, Not surprisingly, it was an age of all kinds of like astrology and all this amazing multidimensional reality field that goes on. And we go through each age for a reason, right? It does a new part of evolution. So I'm just inviting all of you to consider, what should we do? And what are you going to do? Are you going to just try to do the old school paradigm, which is like try to pick a job, pick a role, change, and then when that role gets taken out from under you, wham, wham, wham. Now I'm going to try to find something and, ooh, maybe I'll learn that for 2 years, but then that sucker's gone because we've already advanced beyond that. And if you think about it as reality is going to change so quickly, my ultimate reality and A plan is fast transformation that becomes so easy to experience that I let go of the old paradigm, that I let go. I'm willing to willing to go forward, 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 present, present, forward, and release anything of the old paradigm, that I can literally have that as my ultimate reality and A plan. And then again, just maneuver around within that to whatever the role um, ends up being. It's much more, as they talk about what they're talking about these days, it's much more fluid. It's much more flowing. So I invite you all to connect to what you think that ultimate reality is, that theme. So that whatever these alternatives are within it, it has a core theme versus like, I'm going to be this and then I'm going to be that and then I'm going to go over here and then I'm going to go to this school and I'm going to go to that school. All can work. But I really encourage it being under like an umbrella of like, what's the ultimate reality that you are here to do, the result you're here to create for people, the reality you're here to experience, and then everything flows within that. So it's not like this, but then this, and then I'm betting on this, and I'm hedging over here, and then I've got 57 different realities that I'm considering, which is the ADD of the population. And this just makes sense to me. So I invite you to tell me again what makes sense to you, because otherwise people are going to like overinvest in something, and it could be a role rather than a theme, rather than a ultimate reality that you always deliver inside of whatever role you play and how that gets produced. And then because the other part is, if you have 57 different streams of reality that you are going to, while we are in the age of the multiple revenue streams, it can confuse reality without it having the full umbrella of like, what's the theme? For me, it's always transformation. It's always revolutionary transformation for humanity. Let's figure out what it is for you. That's my invitation for you. Because this train has left the station, there is no stopping it. And we want to have a framework with which we are approaching reality so it knows, what are we telling it to do? What are we telling it to do? Again, for me, it's revolutionary transformation, making sure people can change very rapidly in the age of very rapid evolutionary transformation that is occurring. And for you, what is that theme for you that you can then play around, providing value for the world, contributing within that, and then having a new type of stability that gets created from this ultimate reality versus this job, this skill, that skill. That is the old paradigm as far as I can see it, and that I'm understanding and I'm receiving the guidance on. And the new paradigm is about you as a reality maker and what comes through you into the world and the value of that. So, in that way, you can have an A plan that you can maneuver in without needing so many, like almost in some ways, compartmentalized options that may make you feel like you're hopping around. And then are you on the cutting edge, or are you behind? Or by the time you get somebody going to get a degree right now could literally be getting a degree that is completely obsolete 6 months into getting it. And that's a lot of investment. So I, for one, am happy about that, given that I invested a lot of money in my education. Quite honestly, didn't really need it because I was already all about transformation. But that was the old paradigm. You go do this, you invest all these years, you invest all this money, then it goes into this position, and then you stay in this position either in a company or in a role forever. That doesn't exist anymore. And if you understand human design, which you can do by going to my website, theempirecompany.com, clicking on human design, that tab, and or the link here is in the description, and you can learn about the different phases that humans go through in their lifetime. And nobody going forward is going to stick in one thing for a long time. It's going to be about really making the upgrades, making the changes when you need to make them. And I would also like to hear, I'd like to learn, I'd like to receive what you think should happen for yourself, for others. What's the best game plan? What's the best strategy with everything you're feeling about the changes, with all of your expertise? What do you think? If we're talking, and let's do it, we're helping together all the people in the world. What do you think should be happening? Should they be doing this? They be doing that? And wonderfully, what should they be doing? What do you think you should be doing? Let's get this party started and help people who really need to know what you think as well. I'm one voice, I'm one leader, but this community is about being a group of moguls who are positively, highly influential, empowered people. That's what a mogul is. And I really want all of you who want to lead and contribute to chime in here. All right, moguls, this is what we've got for today. And I want to thank you for tuning in. Go ahead and click the subscribe button so that other people can get in this conversation, be thinking about this differently, get out of insecure, unstable paradigms and frameworks and approaches that they're taking to life, because we know it's all upending into a new, amazing world that we're all going to be inhabiting. And let's get more people in this conversation together. So, I would love a subscribe and a like. Share this, and let's get other people's voices involved. All right, moguls, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for moguling on up into your most influential self, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.